So, who am I? As I've already said, I'm Simon Dittlmann, working for Sinner, also an agency here in Munich. There now for 2 years, and I started my journey back in 1998, starting at operations web development company, also in Munich. It's called Meetup. It's still existing, yeah, went all the way through a lot of different technologies, from operations, as I said, to back-end, front-end, and now I'm kind of a, I would say, full stack with a focus on front-end, and I like also cloud a lot. So this talk is, I think, a very good match. If you want to contact me, yeah, you can reach me basically on all channels. What is it about? Image optimization, cloud serverless, a lot of buzzwords we want to dig into and make some sense behind it. Image optimization is the first thing, and brings me to the question why it actually matters. When you go to any web page performance testing tool and yeah, let you show the content breakdown, then you will see that basically on all pages you go to, any web page currently on the web, you will have something similar like here for Spiegel.de. Images are the main thing on a web page currently. So you basically, on most of the pages, you have more than 50% bytes transferred through the lines coming from images. So it really matters to optimize images. Or the best case, for a very, very fast web page, you reduce the images totally. So it would be an option, but probably it will not look like the designers designed the page, or also probably you will also think it's not so nice looking. You want to have images, but you want to have it really optimized, and yeah, to make the page loading fast. Because yeah, when it's not fast, then you can think about yourself, and it's not fun to use. So image optimization matters. When you think about responsive design, and I think that's most of the pages currently are responsive, then it's even more interesting because you don't want to have always the huge image on all resolutions. So when you surf with your mobile phone on a very maybe slow connection, then you don't want to load the massive image. And even kind of, so that you can optimize that by using, for example, the picture element, as you're probably familiar with, and then the browser take care of and loads the right image, which brings some problems on the optimization, or more effort on the optimization on the image creation part, because you have to provide the images on the server side. When you call it, then you want to have different images for the different screen sizes. And to make it even a little bit worse, Google came up with a new format, the WebP format, so you have to multiply it not even by the mobile, tablet and desktop, but even with the format, so another multiply to provide the images. And another problem is, as you can here probably spot, is that when you have a responsive web page, you want to provide the image in a way that the main focus, I mean here it's the square line on the stones, is always in the spot also on mobile. You don't want to crop the image here and show a blurry picture in the end. And that's another problem what you have to think about it. One solution might be that you give the content editor the choice to actually draw here some rectangle around it and do it manually. but this doesn't scale so much when you produce a lot of images. So what we are doing usually is we're defining safe areas for images. It's coming kind of from the idea back in the days in television. There was, or there is still, the PAL encoding and the NS, or the other one, for the American people, you probably know it better than I, NS something, or whatever. And to make the two image formats comparable, they also define safe areas, and then when the movies are broadcasted in Europe, then it's differently cropped than in the US or in Pacific States. So how it looks in this particular case. So we have here, we can see here the safe area, kind of here. It's the spot, or especially here in the yellow part in the car, it's the safe area. And then you have other areas where you can basically crop very safely here, and you can also crop until here to reduce bandwidth in the end. But you can't always crop entirely, because also you don't want to fiddle around too much with your CSS. I mean, you probably want to set the image in a nice way. You don't want to have too much CSS rows to place it. So, but this makes the process, or that's the preparation to make the process really automated. That's the key thing here. I mean, then you can give this data also to the photographers to say, hey, when I need new images, then please place it in this way. Take the pictures in this for certain modules on the web page in this way, and then you can kind of drop it into your automated cropping thing. So, and now we're coming to the automation part, to the cloud part. What we've done, we set first of all architectural goals for the setup. We said we want to have it very loosely coupled. We want to do kind of this building block as in the building blocks, like in the first talk. Like we have some primitives we want to stick together, and writing some glue code, but we want to have some small things, and which enables us to really start soon and to use it really soon and evolve it over time. That's also very interesting thing. So the other part was we don't want to do any server administration, because most of the people in this team were front-end developers, so we had the restriction, definitely no server administration for this project. And as I said, we want to do it in a really agile mindset. We want to have really early use for the user on this case, and evolve the product over time. And actually we haven't done the final solution yet, so we are still in this evolving phase. But I can show you at least the final idea. And what does serverless mean, to explain that shortly. Serverless is kind of divided in two things. First of all, it's the backend as a service, the BaaS. It's kind of the use of existing cloud services you can think of, like the storage. Everybody, I guess, heard of S3 in AWS context. That's kind of one of this backend as a service thing where you don't have to think about how it works, etc. You just use it, and there is an API, and it's done. And then on the other hand, there's this function as a service, which is, for example, AWS Lambda or the Cloud Functions. And this is kind of the glue code between, or you can use it as a glue code between the BaaS, the backend as a service. And the thing is that it's usually triggered by any event, for example, uploading an image or calling a HTTP endpoint or function, the optimization. To make this a little bit clearer how it works, in the first iteration, And that's what I can show you the demo in short. The timer is not working. And the thing is, we uploading the image here as a first step to the cloud storage, then it triggers, as I said before, the cloud functions. And it can also trigger multiple times if you upload multiple images. And then it puts the output of the optimized image to another cloud storage bucket, and the image tool can then download the images. So in the first iteration, it's just a nice web interface where you can upload the image, and then you get a zip file back where you can download the image. It's not perfect, but as I said, we wanted to start very fast and giving a tool to the client, which is usable and also evolvable, and that's the next the next iteration. The idea is that you have the content management system as a starting point where you usually upload the images. Then the image gets uploaded to the cloud storage as before, triggered the cloud function to optimize as also before, notifies. Then the CMS through the cloud pops up. Module, it's kind of a nice way, because in most cases, in enterprise companies at least, the CMS is behind some data, some firewall, so you can't actually call from the cloud directly to the CMS if it's on the on-premise installation. So you need some decoupling mechanism. That's a nice way here, because the content management system then calls the cloud, and so the request comes from inside to outside, which makes it then usable. And you need the information in the content management system because you need the URL for the images to finally build the page, and then reference from the website. Here's the final customer going to the web page and gets the images from the cloud system, and not from the CMS as in the previous day. But then you also have the CDN of the cloud, which is also a nice thing. So to show you the thing, some demo how the first iteration looks like. I mean, it's really simplistic tool. You have one page with an optimization button. You can upload a test image like this one. As I said before, it's now 907 kilobytes. PNG upload. Then I can, or I have to kind of specify for which module I want to use it, because the safe areas are different for the modules, and otherwise, does the scaling differently or cropping, etc.
So sorry, I can be weird. That's defining where the safe zone is, or?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I mean, but the user of the tool obviously doesn't understand the word or terminus safe area, safe zone. Probably understands much easier something like stage teaser or primary headline, whatever, and then you can specify it here. And in the later iteration, as I said, then it will be anyways directly into the CMS, and you have the information there when it comes to rendering. So you don't need it, but you need the definition of the safe area, which we already collected. So we have it in the way you also need it later on. And then you can press the button asset it's German, so optimization, and it processes in the background, because sometimes it also takes longer for massive or huge images, and to make the workflow nice and easy, as you said, it's you get notified because you might change to your whatever you do in your mail client, whatever, and then you don't have to check the tab all the time. You get the notification, you can download, and it's really smaller, the kilobytes, and desktop also optimized to 207 from 900 something. So that works. And as I don't know how much time left, if there is any time left, then I can show you a little bit the Google Cloud if you want to. Otherwise, I'm happy, yeah, to be on the end, and it's question and answer time, and we also hiring. Surprise!
Okay, let's go to the questions.
I have a question. Have you tried this kind of cloud services that do basically a bit of the same thing like Ingix or Cloudinary? How would you compare your own solution to them?
We actually thought about it to integrate it, yeah, because we have had a little chat with Google, and they acquired also some company doing that. We didn't dig into it very deeply, to be honest, but what we've seen was that it's not so easy to integrate, especially the last round trip, like the notification part, because there it's usually call some API, and then sometimes it works, sometimes yeah, you don't know how the notification backwards comes. I mean, if it takes very long, you also have to consider that some network configuration on your side maybe cuts the line and so forth. So we didn't. Probably we should have done some proof of concept just to try it out, but this solution actually should work on all areas. I mean, for any client.
So what does the notification back do? It updates the DNS with what?
With final URLs, because you generate here new images, so you have different endpoints, and then you also need to know when it's actually ready. So you don't want to publish the page before the image is ready. That's one. I mean, that's one reason. The naming problem you might not have to handle, because you could also say you make some rules, some schema, then you don't have to think about that, but you definitely don't want to publish the page when it's not ready, and because it's asynchronously, yeah, I matters.
Okay, thank you very much.